Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Press Play Lifestyle Inspired podcast, where we do interviews with interesting and inspiring people, like my newest friend here, Miss Adriana Gavazzoni. And we do interviews like this for our listeners so you can find the resources, tools, and support you need to be your best inspired self. And I guarantee this is going to be an interesting one for all of you. So, how are you doing today, Adriana?
Hello, Jack. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Oh, thank you so much. We were just talking a tiny bit before the episode, and you're just full of all kinds of wonderful things, like books, and you're a lawyer, and doing all kinds of new things after the age of 30, just all kinds of great stuff. So, would you want to tell the audience a little bit about you and maybe your latest book?
Yes, sure. I'm from Brazil. I live in Brazil. I've been a lawyer for 30 years now. It's a long time. And I've been a writer for the last 5 years too. So I'm splitting my time between my clients, my writing, my readers, my dogs, a little bit of family life, traveling a little bit here and there. So I'm an hyperactive person. I love to do thousand things and I can't stop and I'm really unstoppable. So
Oh,
everything
sounds
you
like
can
it.
imagine, I'm going to try.
That's amazing. So, that was fun. So, when did you decide to start being a writer?
Well, I was 10 years old when I decided that. I always loved to read, and when I was 10 years old, I started to write my first novel. But I was so ashamed and afraid my mother could read it, someone could read it, because on that time as a child, I never thought someone would read what I was writing. So it was not something imaginable for me. And I destroyed my first novel. I just decided to destroy for not having the risk. And years later, I decided to write a novel again.
Wow, that's amazing. I think if you're a writer, you're always a writer. I remember my first book was in second grade, and my teacher didn't like it and like just said some mean things. And I know it stopped me in my tracks for a really long time because I thought, well, if the teacher doesn't like it, it must be terrible. So I'd say, girls, don't do that. Keep writing.
Yes, Benavo, because teenagers don't like criticism. They are not prepared for that.
Yeah.
Uh, Kids are not prepared for that. I think sometimes I'm not prepared for bad criticism either, but now I can face it.
Yeah.
But you're right. A writer is always a writer. I've always been a storyteller. I always like to tell stories, and it's something my father always did to me. He always told me stories. So I think when you are a writer, you are born a storyteller.
Yeah. So I'm just curious because I don't know, but do you write in English or do you write in multiple languages? Like which way do you express yourself in writing?
I write in English. I have my editor. She perfections my English, the grammar, and things like that, punctuation. But I don't know why I decided to write in English. Yes, I know why, because I wanted to hide myself from my clients.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
My first novels, they have a touch of erotica. They are psychological and erotic thrillers. So I thought it was too much to mix that with my clients' life of being a lawyer, and I decided to publish abroad. If the book was good, great. I would translate and bring to Brazil. If it was not, I would forget about it.
Uh,
But I got some great awards, 5 gold medals until now. some 6 honorable mentions, a bronze medal. I was finalist for many great contests. So I decided to translate into Portuguese and publish in Brazil. And this year I've got a publisher in Portugal, and I'm also in Europe. So I'm very happy. I'm very proud about my babies.
Yeah, it's like you're an international star now instead.
Yeah.
So I have a good friend, and she's an au pair of ours. Her name is Poliana, and she lives in Brazil, and we miss her. So I miss her very, very much. But she speaks Portuguese as well. So I'll have to tell her about your books. She'll love them.
Yes, she will love it. Maybe they
Uh,
are a little bit crazy, my books.
a
Some
little bit
people.
crazy. So where do the ideas come from? Because there's like a series, right? The Hidden Motive series, and they have some mystery and intrigue in them. Where did those ideas come from you?
First of all, I suffer from attention deficit, and people with that condition, we have tons and tons of ideas all the time. We are very mind people. We think a lot, and we have a huge imagination. So whenever I sit to try to write a book, many ideas come to my mind. And I just ask myself, what I would like to read in a book. And I start to add some ingredients, and sometimes I don't know the genre of my books because I've added so many ingredients like romance, like mystery, like murder. I love to kill some characters, and like erotica. It's a really crowded. But my ideas come from observing people, main of all, being a lawyer. You have to observe a lot. You learn not to judge. During my whole career, I've learned there are always two or more sides for the same story. So I love to observe people. I think people they bring to our lives with different stories, and it's always a great source of imagination.
Yeah,
So it's the best way to write is to observe.
I love that. Do have any of your characters kind of had components from maybe some of your real life interactions?
Sure.
Yeah. But I'm not going to tell you which ones, right?
No, sometimes they recognize themselves. People who really know me, they tell me, hey, that character is exactly like you. I say, no. It's not possible. No, because he says this and that. It's just like you. And sometimes I pick a name from a friend. I give the name for the character and some characteristics. Uh, my friends inspire me. People that were had a very important role in my life. They inspired me, even if they didn't bring me good things. The story of one of my main character comes from the wife of a client, and I'm not going to tell names and everything like that, but anything like that. But it was a great source of inspiration to see the problems that woman had and to write about it. So inspiration comes from many places. I'm the godmother of a shelter for abused children. So I wanted to write about that, about the suffering um, children have being abused by people they should trust, that betray them, abusing them in many different ways. And I would like to show people sometimes abuse is happening inside your home, near you, with people you trust. So to write about that was a way to heal myself, because every time I go to this shelter, I suffer a lot with the stories of the children's, the way they suffer and the consequences they have when they are going to take for their whole lives.
Yeah.
So my trilogy, Hidden Motives, is a little bit about that too. Don't judge because you don't know the hidden motives. You don't know what that person experimented, her traumas, her dramas, and why he or she behaves like that. It's complicated to judge when you don't know the background. And we don't know, we never know when is something very mysterious or very forbidden.
Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective to hear from like a legal professional, where you're like, you just people aren't bad, they do bad things, right? And you never know what happened to them that sort of led to all of these things later in life. And I can imagine for you seeing the kids, right, these young children without homes, you worry that they'll end up like some of the clients that you have because there's no one there to make sure that they're okay and someone takes care of them. So it's got to be very difficult.
It is, and to write about it, it's a good way to make a peace with that kind of feeling. I feel sometimes I feel I'm not doing enough for those kids and for the kids in the whole world. And I consider myself a very privileged person. I had wonderful parents. I've received an incredible amount of support, of love, education. And when I see someone that didn't receive that, I always try to help because as human beings, as older as we get, we learn that we come to this world having to do something for people that are in less conditions that we are, for people suffering. It's the meaning of life.
Yeah,
Why you are here if it's not to improve ourselves and help others in the same way?
absolutely. So you've written the trilogy, and you also you're a lawyer all day, and you're writing, and you're a mommy of dogs. When do you sleep?
Oh, I sleep 8 hours per day because
Okay.
I wake up very, very early in the morning. I work all the day long. I work out, I write, read, find my clients. But 11 p.m., I'm exhausted. I really have to put myself to sleep. So I go to my bed, I turn off the lights, and I sleep. I don't have any troubles to sleep because I'm really, really exhausted.
Yeah, it sounds like you're definitely putting in a lot of creative energy and spending a lot of time with the clients. So, how has being a lawyer changed, if at all, with the current coronavirus situation for you?
Brazil is going now through a huge crisis. It's the corona problem, but we are also in the middle of a political crisis. Some bad politicians are enjoying the situation to promote themselves, to create chaos. And Brazil is a poor country. So imagine to close every business for more than a month now. Some clients are desperate, they have to fire people. The amount of unemployment is increasing, and my clients need to survive. Sometimes the way to survive, I do corporate law. The way to survive is to go to the judiciary power for protection. So I'm working hard to preserve companies now. It's different. Until a month ago, it was the usual companies suing companies for bad competence and things like that. But now it's a matter of survival. You have to survive. So we need to fight banks. There are crazy in Brazil right now, and we need to fight for every aspect a company needs to survive, to reduce, starting from reducing the amount of rental because you're closed and people don't want to make an agreement. So you need to go to the judge and say, hey, can you be reasonable here? Because everybody's suffering. We have to split the damage.
Yeah.
It's been tough because I'm seeing some of my clients really marching to bankruptcy. And that's very sad. Some companies have 20, 30 years and are not surviving.
Yeah, it's
And
awful. And those are
yeah,
the places where people work, right? So then they don't have jobs for those people too.
and misery is starting. For example, last night someone rang my bell here at my door and said, I'm hungry. Can you give me food?
Mm.
For a long time, I haven't seen something like that. And people are begging for food. And it was not a beggar, it was a girl of 15 years old, around that. Maybe her parents are unemployed. So it's been hard in every aspect, this COVID to Brazil. Politicians are enjoying to buy things with overprices, and it's a chaos. It's a real chaos. And the press is increasing the problem because the press, it's not helping. They just want to make bad news. Thousands of people are dying, and it's not true. They discover even empty coffins in some places of Brazil, counting as coronavirus. So it's chaos
Yeah.
for lawyers, for human beings, for everybody. It's not being easy now.
Yeah. Is there anything that has been um, that you'll miss when things go back to everybody working the way they used to?
Yes, working in pajamas in my home and talking to judge through my phone because every time I go to the court, I have to put on a suit. I have to ask permission to talk to the judge. And now I send in WhatsApp and say, hey, I need to talk to the judge about this and that. And it's more transparent because nobody is going to try bad things through the phones. I'd like that to continue. It would be great. I know it's not possible. Things that we couldn't do before through internet. Now we have some services that are available, and it's so much easy to do that through internet. I'm going to miss that. I'm really going to miss that.
Yeah, well, hopefully, maybe they'll make some changes. I mean, if we find out ways to be more productive with less cost, I mean, that should be good for everybody, right?
Yes, because traffic is amazing. I have to go to the supermarket once a week, and it's great because in 5 minutes I can cross the city, and that's something to think because it was less time and less life. Whenever you save time, you save life. We don't know how many years we have in front of us. Every minute is precious.
Mm.
So if you don't have to waste that driving from one point to the other, it would be amazing.
It would be amazing. Absolutely. So, how would people find your books and information where they can learn about you if they're interested in reading the Hidden Motive series?
Well, I'm everywhere. I'm on Amazon in the United States, Canada, in the whole world. I'm in FNAC. I have my website, agavazzoni.com, in English and Portuguese. I'm on Facebook with my author's page, A Gavazzoni author. On Instagram, Adri_Gavazzoni. I'm on Twitter, A_Gavazzoni. I'm everywhere pretty
You're
much. You
everywhere.
can find me everywhere. I answer emails. I love to answer to my readers. So Adriana at adrianagavazzoni.com, and you are going to have an answer. So just try to get in touch and you're going to find me.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule of writing and protecting the businesses in Brazil. I really appreciate it. And I hope to hear from you again the next time your books come out, next book comes out.
Thank you very much, Jackie, for the opportunity. It's very important for our authors to talk about our work, and it was a pleasure to be here with you today.
It was nice to see you too. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.